All right, it's 4:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Cincinnati Hamilton County Library Board for April 23rd. We'll have a roll call.
Ms. Clemens?
Here.
Ms. Allen?
Here.
Ms. Conan?
Here.
Ms. Redden?
Here.
Mrs. Lamacchia?
Here.
Mr. Hendon?
Here. All right, do we have any public comments? Good, we'll move on to action items. We have a resolution.
Okay, that is part of the director's report, and so we will jump right to that, and I'll do a little introduction, and then Monica will give us the resolution. Friends of the Library Executive Director Ann Keller retires and is here in the front row. After 21 years of service, Ann Keller retired as the Executive Director of the Friends of the Library on March 31st. Just a little background about Ann. She graduated from the University of Michigan with an MLS and joined the library in 1975. She left in 1991, but in 1998 could not resist the urge and came back, became the administrator for the Friends of the Library, which led to an impressive career leading the Friends. During Ann's tenure, the Friends grew into business that sells materials to people locally and across the nation, donates hundreds of thousands of dollars to the library annually, operates a used bookstore at the Hartwell Warehouse, and a gift shop at the main library, and enjoys the services of scores of volunteers. Thank you to Ann for her years of service and dedication. And now Monica will read our resolution.
All right, Ann, you ready? Whereas Ann Keller first entered the library profession in August 1975 as a reference librarian in the Education and Religion Department of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County. And whereas Mrs. Keller worked for 17 years as a valued employee of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County, creating the Grants Resource Center in 1979, working as the administrative assistant to Library Director James R. Hunt in 1984, and as Public Relations Director in 1987, and whereas Mrs. Keller began working with the Friends of the Public Library in 1998 and was named Executive Director of the organization in 1999, and whereas Mrs. Keller helped the Friends expand the number and location of book sales and move the Friends from its facility on Dana Avenue to the current Hartwell Warehouse in 2001, expanding the staff to 8 part-time employees, and whereas while serving as the Executive Director of the Friends, she helped the organization provide $100,000 in seed money to the Library Foundation, and whereas while serving as the Executive Director of the Friends, she helped raise more than $3.2 million to support the events, services, and collection of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County. And whereas throughout her tenure with the Friends of the Public Library, Mrs. Keller kept pace with the library's advancing technology, new services, and growing facilities by supporting programs, purchasing materials and equipment, and advocating for library funding. Now therefore be it resolved, in recognition of her years of devoted service, the members of the Board of Trustees thank and commend Ann Keller for her dedicated service to the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread upon the minutes of the Board of Trustees of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County. Congratulations.
I say that it's been my privilege and my passion to be affiliated with the public library for almost 4 decades. and I appreciate this personal recognition, and I take it as recognition and appreciation for the work of the Friends altogether. We are your friends. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you.
I will entertain a motion to accept the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is passed. All right, next we have the Eva Jane Romaine Coon Director's Report. Paula Bremheger will present that report.
Thank you, Mr. Hendon. Okay, Okay, we want to start by acknowledging we have new senior leaders joining our team. They're here around our table. As of April 22nd, yesterday, we now have 4 new senior administrators on our leadership team. We have our Chief Operating Officer, Brett Bonfield, who will oversee the regional manager, security, and lead service operations staff. Most recently, he has been the Executive Director of the Public Library in Princeton, New Jersey. Brett received a Bachelor of Arts from Rutgers College and his MLS from Drexel University. We have our Chief Technology and Logistics Officer, Holbrook Sample, who will lead technology, cataloging, processing, conservation services, genealogy, local history, material selection, outreach, shipping and receiving, sorting, and the tech center in the makerspace. Previously, he served as a regional manager, and he had overseen the technology department in an interim capacity beginning last July. He received his Bachelor of Arts from Columbia and his MLS from the State University of New York at Albany. Kathy Bach, who is in the audience, hi Kathy, is our new regional manager. She has been with the library for 25 years. She served as the interim regional manager from July through September of 2018 and recently was the senior branch manager at the Delhi Township branch. Kathy received her Bachelor of Arts in English and Public Relations from Xavier University and her MLIS from Indiana University. And the last of the 4, certainly not least, we have our Human Resources Director, Lisa Todd. She will lead Human Resources staff as well as plan, develop, and establish a comprehensive program of HR administration. She comes to us from Globe Food Equipment, where she recently served as the Executive Vice President over Human Resources, Manufacturing, Logistics, Supply Chain, and Customer Service. Lisa received her Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Colorado Technical University and her Master of Professional Studies in Human Resources and Employment Relations from Pennsylvania State University. These new leaders will focus on creating and supporting a collaborative and positive work environment and building strong relationships with staff and internal stakeholders. So welcome to everybody. All right. Move on down. Yeah, you can clap. Thank you. That's great. We welcome clapping from the audience. A slight update on the state budget and legislative activity. House Bill 166, which is Governor DeWine's state budget proposal for the fiscal year 2020 to 2021, was formally introduced at the end of March. His budget proposal includes maintaining the PLF, our public library fund, at 1.68 over the biennium and not reducing it to the 1.66 rate that is actually set in permanent law. However, language is once again in the temporary law section of the bill, so the 1.68 would only be in effect for that fiscal year 2020 to 2021. Representative Tom Brinkman has reintroduced legislation that would allow taxing authorities to prevent public libraries from placing a tax issue on the ballot. The legislation would change the current language in the Ohio Revised Code regarding the placement of issues on the ballot by taxing authority from shall, which is what we have now, to may. As previously reported to the board, Representative Brinkman introduced similar legislation the last session of the General Assembly, but it did not receive a hearing by the House and Ways Means Committee. We are continuing to monitor that. The Ohio Libraries Council annual legislative day was held on April 9th in Columbus, provides the opportunity for library advocates, including library staff from our library, to talk with legislators about the importance of our public library service, caps off an information campaign with the legislators and other decision makers that did include a breakfast for our local legislators in early March and a dinner on April 8th that was attended by staff from Governor DeWine's office. A little bit additional information about local, state, and national professional and community activities. The Southwest Regional Libraries and Workforce Collaborative, which is actually comprised of representatives from various workforce boards, Ohio Means Jobs, centers, and public libraries across our Southwest region here in Ohio. We held our second meeting on March 28th. Discussion focused on collective efforts to serve employees and job seekers throughout joint efforts of the workforce boards, our OMJ centers and libraries. And we also had participation from staff at CET because they do build resources to assist the community in finding jobs, and they have a great avenue for letting people know about those resources. On Saturday, February 23rd, I visited a session of Saturday Hoops, and along with one of my former teen advisory board members, spoke to that group about the support the library can give for being a productive, happy young person, reminding everyone that the library is open to all. On Friday, April 5th, I spoke at the Morning Bridge series, offering that group of community and business leaders an overview of our current services, as well as an important overview of our facility master plan that will help us build our next generation library. A little bit of information about organizational culture and staff development. This year, our staff development days, which we hold every year and that all of our staff do attend, take place from March to May, are focused on the Strength Finder assessment. Senior leadership engaged in this assessment last year. And this opportunity for all staff to similarly identify their strengths, reflect on how to utilize those for their own development, their team, and for the library. It's an exciting organization-wide opportunity for growth. I've been holding a series of coffee classes designed to informally talk with staff and have conversations about how to incorporate this strength-based approach into our organization culture. The next one most of you are probably aware of, but the movie The Public has been released. Emilio Estevez's film, set in Cincinnati and filmed predominantly at our library, had its Cincinnati premiere on March 28th. The film's general release was April 5th. We do have an update to our photography and videotaping policy. That's the Exhibit 1. These updates have been reviewed by Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office, and additionally, we do intend to post a notice outside of any library program or event where our staff may be taking photographs or recording that notes the program could be photographed or videotaped for library promotion or historic purposes. Folks just need to notify us if they prefer not to be documented. This will be used in place of our current consent to be photographed form. So it's not that big a difference, it's just moving to a sign from a form. Finally, Friends of the Library June book sale will be held once again at the Friends Used Bookstore in Hartwell, June 1 through June 8th. And the Anderson Township Library Association's annual book sale will be held also in June, the 28th through the 23rd at Nagel Middle School. That's the report, and we are requesting the approval of that attached policy.
Move to accept. Second.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Facilities and Finance and Audit Committee, Monica Conan, please give us your report.
Sure. Okay, so the Facilities and Finance and Audit Committee met on March 25th, 2019. Nadine Allen and I were present, and Board President Bob Hendon and Committee Chair Bill Moran called in. Staff members Paula Bremhager and Molly DeFosse were also in attendance. It is the recommendation of the committee that the board take the following action. First is to approve the 2020 budget as follows. The Hamilton County Budget Commission has allowed the library to file modified tax budgets since fiscal year 2005, with the understanding that ongoing approval is subject to annual review. A request to submit a modified 2020 budget was submitted to the Budget Commission on March 14, 2019. The library is required to submit its annual budget to Hamilton County by May 31, 2019. The proposed 2020 operating budget balances current funding expectations, current operating costs, and capital project plans. The capital budget has been constructed on the basis of need. That is, what's needed to fund top priorities for capital building and improvement projects. The completion of the Facility Master Plan will provide a more informed capital budget for the next several years once it is completed. Operating budget. The proposed general fund operating budget of $65,405,000 is approximately 3.9% greater than 2019 appropriations. It provides allowances for increase in salary rates and other categories of expenditure in support of the strategic plan of the organization. And you have a chart there regarding the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County 2020 General Fund. Capital budget includes the remaining anticipated projects identified in the 2016 Comprehensive Facilities Plan. This list will be updated upon completion of the Facility Master Plan at the end of 2019. And you have those projects listed there totaling $44,825,000. This budget reserves two contingencies, a $1.75 million operating contingency, 3% in the general fund, and a $2 million capital contingency in the building and repair fund. The general fund expects to end 2019 with $13,455,000 of available funding. To fund the 2020 budget, the library will need intergovernmental revenue of almost $95.4 million. The source of the revenue is the Public Library Fund and local property taxes. For budget purposes, property tax receipts for 2020 are estimated at $36,971,000, which is approximately the amount expected for 2019. The balance of the intergovernmental revenue, $58,422,000, is being requested from the PLF. So a few notes about the Price Hill Branch Accessibility Project. We'd like approval for the conceptual design, which includes the majority of active public service on the lower level, entering at grade level from the rear of the building. There will be elevator access to the second floor with controlled access to meeting rooms and an adult reading area. The addition and parking will primarily be on the south side, the rear of the lot. The details will be worked through during the schematic design phase with anticipated completion at the end of 2019. We also have some information regarding construction manager qualifications, so we would like authority for the Eva Jane Remain-Coombe Director to enter into a contract with Messer Construction Co. as the firm most qualified for the project. The library received statements of qualifications from 3 firms interested in providing construction management services for the project and ranked the top 3 firms as follows. First, Messer Construction Company, second, Megan Construction Company, and third, Diversified Facility Solutions. An update with respect to the distribution center renovation. To approve the award of the contract to the lowest responsible bidder, Leo J. Brielmeyer Co., and approve the distribution center renovation project budget, including the contingency of 10% as follows. So the contract is for $518,500 with a contingency of $51,850. We also need approval for the director to approve change orders that do not increase the overall budget and to execute the certificate of substantial completion. All change orders will be reported to the board for confirmation. We also have a 2018 energy retrofit, and that's to approve the award of the contracts to the lowest responsible bidders and approve the 2018 energy retrofit project budget, including the contingency of 10% as follows. And you can see the chart there with the relevant numbers. We're also asking for authorization for the director to approve change orders that do not increase the overall budget and to execute the certificate of substantial completion. All change orders will be reported to the board for confirmation. And we have a couple items for informational purposes only. First is with respect to the Walnut Hills property. The library closed on the purchase of the Walnut Hills property on March 11th, 2019. We are in the process of cleaning up the lot and will be filing for property tax exemption for 2020. The exemptions are granted on a calendar year, and the library will be responsible for the taxes for the remainder of this year. Also for informational purposes, a report on the main library roof for the north building. The project is expected to begin the week of April 1st, 2019. We do anticipate that there will be a fair amount of noise in removing the roof at the beginning of the project, with some level of noise to continue during the project. We are working with the strategy department to communicate with those impacted. So I guess I should ask for approval.
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, roll call.
Ms. Clemens? Here. Ms. Allen?
here, yes.
Ms. Konen?
Yes.
Ms. Redden?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamacchia? Mr. Hendon?
Yes. All right, the next is the Strategy Committee report, and that will be given by Elizabeth Lamacchia.
Okay, as Pauline pointed out, we have the recent administrative reorganization. And now the strategy department will include customer experience, education and homework support and programming, civic engagement, government relations, and the internal communications and marketing. All right, we have a calendar update for some of the facility master plans. It formally kicked off in late February with meetings of the staff advisory team and the Community Advisory Council. On March 18th, the first community forum in Walnut Hills was held with 37 attendees. Also in March, the Design Impact facilitated 2 focus groups in Price Hill to gather input from the underserved segments of the community, such as the specifically individuals with disabilities and the Hispanic community. There is going to be a community forum tonight at the Madisonville branch. It'll be held at the Madison Recreation Center from 6:30 to 8. There are also preparations underway for 2 focus groups in Walnut Hills with the senior citizens and the residents of the Evanston community. And the library is going to be holding a staff strategic visioning workshop on April 29th, and then the next day on the 30th, a community strategic visioning workshop. These workshops will be interactive, educational, creative, and hopefully enjoyable, and led by a trio of facilitators from the Group 4 Architecture, Research, and Planning. Additionally, on May 9th at the Price Hill Rec Center, there will be a meeting with the design concepts people. The Staff Engagement Task Force presented its final report and recommendations to the senior leadership team and distributed them to all the staff via the intranet. The recommendations focused on staff empowerment, workplace improvement, communication, and staff retention. These recommendations were reviewed by the senior leadership team and were passed on to the new HR Director, Lisa Todd, and the Chief Operating Officer, Brett Bonfield. The pop-up activities. The March pop-up in the main library atrium focused on social services. The providers included Greater Cincinnati Behavioral, the Ohio Equity Institute, Talbot House, and the YWCA of Greater Cincinnati. Staff from these agencies were on hand each Friday morning from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and more than 100 people met with us. Approximately 98 individuals were connected to the services by participating. April's pop-up is being hosted by the Education and Homework Support Department, providing homework assistance in the atrium from 3 until 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday. In May, the pop-up will focus on workforce development services and resources and incorporate activities for the Demand Jobs Week, which is May 6th to 10th. Another innovative element to the atrium pop-ups may be a partnership with Finley Kitchen. How's that going? Is that?
Well, we're working on it.
You're working on it, okay.
We were close, and now we're
okay.
trying another.
All right, this would include experimenting with the provision of a food cart, offering food and snacks for purchase in the atrium for a 6-month trial period, as well as joint programming on the topics such as small business development, healthy eating, and careers in the food industry. We have a couple of upcoming events. An evening with Nidhi Okafor. It will be in the main library on Thursday, May 2nd at 7:30 p.m. And we will be hosting the award-winning novelist Nidhi Okafor. Is that how you pronounce it, Okafor?
I think it's Okorafor.
Okay. She is from Cincinnati. She writes African-based science fiction, fantasy, and magical realism for both the youth and adults. She's the author of the Black Panther comics from Marvel Comics and authored a spin-off graphic novel, Wakanda Forever. The tickets for the event are $5, and there will be a limited number of tickets for the pre-reception at $100. The library, in partnership with the Hamilton County of the Ohioana Library, hosted their annual event honoring the local authors on Sunday, April 14th in the Hudenfeld Tower Room at the main library. It included recognition of Hamilton County authors and a keynote address by a local author, Leah Stewart, who will also be presented with, or was presented, I guess, because it's how it happened, 2019 Cooper Award for Outstanding Promotion of Books and Reading. The Summer Adventure for all ages, and the goal of this program is to encourage customers to participate in reading and the enrichment activities throughout the summer while staying engaged with the library. And starting on June the 1st, the participants can pick up their summer adventure passport, a free book, and their first check-in prize at any library location. And using this passport as a guide, the participants can record their reading and learning activities and check in at the library once a week to earn additional prizes. Each week will have a different theme, exploring the arts, pulp culture, maker and technology, science, your neighborhood, nature, games, and the last week will be sports. The summer adventure also will include summer meals and snacks, and the library is partnering with UMC Food Ministries and Mount Healthy City Schools to provide these meals and snacks at the main library in 15 branch locations. We are also partnering with the Cincinnati Public Schools to help cross-promote meal service to ensure children are aware of all the meal sites and the serving times in their community. The summer STEAM programs are specially designed to provide opportunities for students to explore STEAM through hands-on activities. These opportunities will help battle summer learning loss and prepare students to start school in the fall. And we have the brain camps, which are week-long camps at Main Library in 8 branches for students in 1 to 5. The adventure labs, also for grades 1 to 5 and 6 to 8 at 12 library locations. And the STEAM Adventures Space Cadets, which is a 90-minute hands-on exploration of astronomy for grades 1 to 5, and that will be at all the library locations. The ULC STEM cohort, on March 13th and 14th, Paula Brimheger and Lisa Soper attended a kickoff meeting for the Urban Libraries Council, Partners for Middle School STEM cohort. The group discussed various ways libraries can build community partnerships that support STEM. And as part of this initiative, we will be partnering with the Cincinnati Public Schools and the Greater Cincinnati STEM Collaborative to engage the youth at Bond Hill Academy and the Bond Hill Branch. As part of the library's NASA at My Library grant initiative, we are hosting Space Days at the library locations in April, and those are ready to go. They'll be continuing throughout the year. The pop-up play, this is going to be, I hope the weather will be good for you, is partnering with 3CDC to host pop-up play at Washington Park each Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. from May 29th to August 7th. And each week, the library staff will lead fun and educational activities for the children and the families in the park. Keep our fingers crossed there's no rain. The Teen Poetry Contest runs from April 1st to April 30th, and the theme is Right to be Free. And it is to encourage all teens, regardless of their skill or expertise, to express themselves through the poetry. The award ceremony will be at the main library's teen spot on June the 8th in the afternoon. May the 4th Art Contest, and we're partnering with a group of local illustrators from the Cincinnati Fan Art Collective to hold the May the 4th Art Contest. The participants are encouraged to submit their Star Wars-inspired artwork at any library locations through April 20th, which was, they should have all had them in by now. The contest is open from kids 16 to 18, and selected of these pieces will be on display in the Youth Services Department from April 29th to May 11th, and the library will host a May the 4th celebration and award ceremony at the main library all day on May 4th. The Taft Museum of Art's annual Artists Reaching Classrooms exhibition will be on view April 10th to May 17th, and students from 12 area high schools are going to be exhibiting a variety of artwork there. Design Lab, Cincinnati's annual student architectural design education program and competition, will be on display at the main library from April 27th to May 4th. The theme for this year's program and completion is Push Play, which challenges the students to design play spaces that push the limits of where and how we play. And this is in partnership with the Architectural Foundation of Cincinnati. The library is also partnering with the University of Cincinnati to host hero Bearcat statues at the main library and Coreyville branch to celebrate the university's bicentennial. During this event, the Bearcat will be seen in life-size statues decorated by local artists with the designs intended to inspire and celebrate everyday heroes that live and work among us all. These hero Bearcat statues will be on display through October at the Coreyville branch and Maine. And lastly, the 20th Annual Cincinnati Book Arts Society will exhibit bookworks on the second floor connector at the main library from May 22nd to September 1st. This is a nonprofit organization of professional amateur hand workers in the book arts, and artist walkthroughs will take place on June 2nd and August 18th at 2 p.m. And this is all for information only. There's no voting.
Good. What is pop-up? What is pop-up?
Pop-up play? That means like not permanent. So they're kind of doing it and not doing it. So it happens and then they fold it up and it's not right there all the time. So down in the atrium, we were doing the social service pop-up, so they were there for that month. And then we move on to a different topic to see what works well.
Okay. All right, so next is the Development Committee, Monica Conan.
Okay. All right, first item is the Library Foundation seeks funding for PopUp Preschool. Library Foundation applied for a grant from the Jacob Schmidlap Fund in support of PopUp Preschool. The grant focuses on several key elements of PopUp Preschool, including early literacy, social, emotional, and language development for children and for caregivers, modeling behaviors, and activities that can be done at home. If the grant is received, and we'll come back to the if in a moment, we will explore the possibility of expanding the program to more library locations in 2020, prioritizing locations that are outside of Cincinnati Public School and the Preschool Promise service area, and school districts where kindergarten readiness scores are low. So, good news here. Stacy, congratulations to you and your team. The Jacob Schmidlap Fund made that award. Very exciting, so we're ready to move forward with that program. That's wonderful. Friends of the Public Library. The library submitted its annual funding request to the Friends at their board meeting on February 1st, and it was provisionally accepted pending final budget approval in May. And that's the end of the report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Operations Committee, Diane Cunningham-Redden.
Library Operations, Oakley Branch Manager Chris Oakes. Chris Oakes, Oakley Branch Manager, began his library career in 2011 as a part-time library associate at the Kenton County Public Library in Erlanger, Kentucky, before being promoted to the role of adult programming librarian shortly thereafter. In 2016, Chris joined our library as the manager of the Price Hill Branch, and in 2017, he took on his current role as manager of the Oakley Branch. Chris is the co-leader of the Index Project Team, which coordinates library programs and resources designed to engage the region's young professional demographic. He serves on the Strategic Planning Implementation Team and the New Manager Orientation Team. Oakley Branch enters fourth decade in a thriving neighborhood. The Oakley Branch will be celebrating...
Wait.
Talking?
Yeah, Chris.
Okay.
My bio. So yeah, I'll go ahead and just briefly give you a snapshot of Oakley, where we're currently at. This is a very exciting time to be here, actually. There's a lot of development in the community, a lot of young families and people moving into the area. We're seeing program attendance creep up every time we look at it. So some of the things that we're doing to kind of meet the audience where they're at here at Oakley. Right when I got here, I took a look at the demographics of the area. One of the unique things about Oakley compared to the rest of the county is the amount of millennial and young professional, the demographic in the area. In fact, when I looked at Orange Boy, our demographic software, I believe somewhere like 13% higher in the age group of 25 to 35, just in the service area of Oakley. So what that means for us is that we kind of have to do a little bit more outside the box events and programs and classes to kind of meet that audience. So some of the things that we've done are some what are called adulting classes, kind of the millennial age group, kind of prepping them on things like food and budgeting and things like that. Those have been very popular. Again, outside the box, we had a beard contest in this room, and it was well attended. This room was packed, but it coincided with Men's Health Month in November, so it was meant to kind of raise awareness for men's health in kind of a novel and interesting way. We've also held a series of successful escape rooms, and if you're not aware of that whole phenomenon, it's basically kind of a puzzle that you are locked in a room with your team, and you kind of break out using clues. And it's another example of the kind of social, interactive programming that our audience tends to want here at Oakley. I would love to have more historical lectures. I dig that sort of stuff, but I'm kidding. But rather than doing things like that, we have to kind of meet the audience where they are and do those sorts of social, pop culture oriented events to engage that audience. And many of those type of programs also dovetail into the Index project, which she mentioned just a moment ago, trying to engage that young professional millennial audience that likes more social, interactive type of programming. Along with the events and programs end of things, we've also worked with marketing to create a targeted campaign to kind of reach to increase card holders in the area, because we think that there's a lot of those folks that are here but may want to use more of our digital services. Hopefully we'll get them in the branch as well, but we've done targeted flyers and other tactics to kind of increase that audience that may be more likely to want to use our ebooks and digital services and things like that. And lastly, we've also worked with the Oakley Community Council. I've been trying to attend those meetings when I can and make sure we have a presence at community events so that the library is well represented in the Oakley community. There's lots of events happening. Like I said, very vibrant and kind of a booming time for Oakley, so it's really exciting to be here during that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a little bit more. As mentioned in the February 2019 report, the library's passport application acceptance service is expanding to 2 more locations. The Corryville branch went live on Saturday, April 6th, and the Sims Township branch will go live on Saturday, April 20, or has gone live. At branch locations, the service is offered on Saturdays by appointment only. That's it.
Thank you. All right, next is Technology Committee. Karen Clemens.
For our technology report, there are charging tables deployed at the main library. 6 charging tables will be placed in 4 departments at the main library. Customers have 3 charging options at the tables: iPhone, USB, and micro USB. Each table has matching chairs and 4 sets of the charging options to satisfy the high demand to power devices. Charging locker deployed in TeenSpot. A 6-bay locker has been installed in TeenSpot for customers to secure their devices while they are charging. There are the same options for charging as the charging tables, as well as a regular electric plug to meet the variety of charging needs customers have expressed. Lucky Day Collection Pilot. In late April, we will trial a Lucky Day collection at the main library. Customers will be able to check out in-demand titles from the Lucky Day display in the atrium without waiting or putting the book on hold. If successful, we may expand Lucky Day collections as budget permits. Microsoft Office 365 update. All staff email accounts and calendars have been converted to Office 365. This will allow the staff of the library to roll out and use the suite of communication and productivity tools that make up Office 365, such as Teams, To-Do, and Yammer.
Thank you. All right, next is the Human Resources Committee, and Nadine Allen.
All right, this report is from Kyla Harden, our Human Resources Manager. EEOC charge filed on Friday, February 15th, 2019 at 10:38 a.m. HR Manager Kyla Harden received an EEOC charge via email. The charge of discrimination was based on age and disability, was filed by Viggy Becker. As of the writing of this update, March 29, 2019, a response to the charge is being prepared in collaboration with attorney Matt Wagner. National Library Workers' Day. April 9th was National Library Workers' Day, where we celebrate and recognize all library workers. This is a day that communities across the country recognize the valuable contributions made by library workers. National Library Workers' Day honors our staff for their commitment to serve with excellence. This year, all staff could have any existing overdue fines removed from their cards, and managers received a thank you card with a Kroger gift card to use for their staff. The Staff Morale and Recognition Team also sponsored activities throughout the week, encouraging staff to take part in the celebration. Arts Wave Campaign. The library's Arts Wave annual community campaign ended on March 3rd. Staff contributed $3,704 during this year's campaign, which exceeded our goal of $3,500. Educational Assistance Update. Research and work toward the new Educational Assistance Plan has continued over the past several months. Recommendations and options are being finalized and will be discussed with the new Human Resources Director with the intention of presenting to the Human Resources Committee before June. That concludes my report.
Thank you. All right, next we have consent agenda items. I need a motion to accept the minutes of
So
the
moved.
February 12th meeting and the consent items.
Yeah,
Do you have a second?
Okay.
Motion second. Roll call.
Ms. Clemens? Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Conan?
Yes.
Ms. Redden?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamacchia?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon?
Aye. Yes. All right, that concludes our meeting. I move to adjourn the meeting. When is the next meeting?
June 11th.
June 11th at 4:30 at the Westwood Branch Library. You're all invited to attend.
You all better be there.
It will be cooler. It's not bad. It's really not bad. All right, that concludes the meeting.